Good evening, parents. I am Rich Meyer, the president of JSerra.
Eric Stroupe, principal at JSerra. We want to welcome you here to Back to School Night.
Do you remember, Mr. Stroupe, do you remember that old Saturday Night Live skit, Hans and Franz? Do you remember that? I am Hans.
I am Franz.
And we are here to pump
you up.
You up, right? Okay, back to serious things here, ladies and gentlemen, here, academic institution. We are excited to have you here at Back to School Night. It's been a great start to the year, despite some circumstances that we'll talk about here in a moment related to COVID, but we're really excited to have our school filled, right? Filled to capacity, just shy of 1,300 students, and with waiting lists that we had waiting lists last year, but it's been an extraordinary demand to be a part of the JSerra family this year. So we're really excited to see the cast of family, sons and daughters of yours, staff members here. It's been a really, really great and positive start to the 2021-2022 academic cycle.
And we also appreciate that it's a bit more normal this year. If you remember last year, we didn't have any arts or campus ministry or athletic events in the entirety of the first semester. And this year, we're already into it. We've had a lot of sporting events. And speaking of which, this Friday, Rich, we have our first home football game, varsity game. And we take on Sherman Oaks, Notre Dame. And the fun starts on our north side of campus, the academic side, at 5:30 with our tailgate. We encourage all families, students, friends to come out to the tailgate. There's going to be music, fun, and certainly a lot of fellowship. At about 6:45, we en masse migrate over to the South Campus to watch some really, really quality football.
Mr. Stroupe, for those out there listening, Mr. Stroupe will be cooking hot dogs and brats for free, right?
Absolutely.
Out of the back of your Palisade vehicle. So look for Mr. Stroupe with the little chef hat on top, right? He makes a mean hot dog. Also, this weekend for some more fun, so Friday night football, we'll cheer on our Lions to victory. But also Saturday night for the students here at the school, we've got our back to school dance, which will be held in our gym. But also for parents, we have a great hoedown activity over at San Juan Hills Golf Course. I don't mean to incite panic, but I'm told we may actually already be sold out for this event. And I just talked to Ms. Vonderland and Eric. I hear that there's a whole secondary black market for tickets. So if you know somebody, maybe you can still get in. But again, it's going to be a great time, a chance for the students to spend some time at a great welcome back dance, but a chance for a lot of parents and families to come together in fellowship. Again, that hallmark of our JSerra community, marked by that real family, intimate spirit.
Yeah, and if you were with us last Saturday night, we had our mass and bash. I combined those by bash. But we had that last Saturday, and it was great. And so it's really fun seeing some of the normal things come back to our school, some of the things that are the hallmarks of the JSerra family. One of the things that's still around, however, is COVID. And if you've been watching the news at any time in the last week, you'll know that this Delta variant is certainly causing some spikes around the country. California doesn't seem to be hit as bad as some of the southern states, but we're still being affected by it. And in terms of JSerra, we've probably had the most cases in our community than we've had probably any time in the last 12 months. On campus, we've had a number of students that have had it, a number of staff that have had it. It's had to have some quarantines on campus. We're going to return back to our lie and lowdown of giving sort of a weekly update of our COVID cases. We are still taking mitigating measures. We still have all of our students wearing masks indoors. But hopefully this is just a quick spike that we get through as a state and a community. But it is something that we're having to deal with.
And again, as Mr. Stroupe alluded to, we'll be back on every Thursday in our Lie and Lowdown showing student cases and staff cases. Thankfully, with the Delta variant, it doesn't seem to be demonstrating as significant effects. Many of our students those who test positive for COVID are asymptomatic. And many of our faculty and staff are vaccinated, so they've been experiencing COVID to a lesser degree. But nevertheless, we want you to be in tune and aware of what we're experiencing on campus, and we're very blessed to have a lot of as Eric had mentioned, the mitigating measures that we put in place. And to end, too, on an exciting note, I think for us as a school community and culture, you would have seen, particularly if you're a returning family, something new to the Lie and Lowdown. And we look to continue to broaden this in the school culture, and that's what we're referencing as the virtue of the week. We spent some time last year piloting a program of educating students in virtue. Our Dominican sisters here on campus have brought this to their classrooms last year, and we're trying to extend this to the entirety of all of our classrooms, every corner of the campus, athletics, extracurriculars, arts, the daily classroom experience. whereby we're all focused on growing in virtue. We know that virtue is simply just the habit of doing the good. And I think as parents, we can all recognize the importance of what it means to cultivate character through virtue. And so for us to have a very targeted approach to helping the young men and women of the campus, and frankly ourselves as well, to really understand how we can become better and more faithful sons and daughters of God by growing in really key human and supernatural virtues. So you'll see in the Lion Lowdown each week our virtue of the week. This week it happens to be foresight. And coming full circle, if you happen to mention that virtue tomorrow night when you come to the football game, you will get in for free. But you have to remember the virtue is foresight. So that's a virtue we've been working on this week with the young men and women here on Lion Nation and on campus, and perhaps it's a great fodder for dinner time conversation. But again, virtue is foresight. So again, look in each Lion Lowdown, and as we find different ways to communicate this virtue in different vehicles, whether it's the Lion Report at school, the Lion Lowdown, or other ways, it's a great, hopefully, opportunity for all of us as a community to be really centered in virtue.
All right. I think with that, Rich, we always like to end it on a Go
Go
Lions.
Lions.